Welcome back. Just breezing through hour two here of a Money Monday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. Dow still hovering in the 26,000 range, still almost 10 points off its all-time high, 10% off its all-time highs, but definitely in recovery mode today. Almost up 1,000 a little earlier, but didn't quite get there. And we'll keep you posted on that. And along with that, all the other breaking news out there, Frankie's got over in the newsroom.
Absolutely, John. And what a breaking news afternoon it is. First, let's turn to the presidential race, where there is breaking news that we can now confirm, actually, that Amy Klobuchar is dropping out of the 2020 presidential race, and she is planning to endorse Joe Biden. So on the one hand, she is dropping out of the race and she's no longer running for president, but you can consider this her full-throated announcement that she is jumping into the Veep stakes to be Joe Biden's vice presidential running mate.
That is for sure.
Yeah, you've seen Minnesota become increasingly more competitive. Certainly President Trump holding a rally there and investing a lot of time, energy, and money in the state of Minnesota. Amy Klobuchar is somebody that if Biden were to add her to his ticket, again, no guarantee that Biden's going to be the nominee, even with Klobuchar out. If Klobuchar were to join the Biden ticket, that certainly would seem to solidify Minnesota in the blue column.
Well, all this stuff, Frankie, doesn't it look like, they're paving the way here for Joe Biden? Like, Buttigieg is gone now. I said earlier in the show, any day now, Amy Klobuchar gone. I didn't know it would be today she'd be gone, but I find it strange that they've been saying how there's still two women in the race, and the one woman who drops out doesn't back the other woman in the race. So,
but
to your point,
she's an establishment person, right? And her only play right now is the vice presidency. Bernie's certainly not going to pick her. So the only options she has are Bloomberg and Biden. And she's clearly going with the establishment pick, which is Joe Biden at this point. And, with the recent departures, John, you know who the youngest male candidate in the presidential race is right now?
Mike Bloomberg.
No, the youngest male presidential candidate in the race right now is Donald Trump.
Oh, Donald Trump. Oh, I thought you meant the Democrats.
If he's reelected, will be the oldest president in American history.
And he's the youngest.
And he's the youngest male candidate in the race for president.
Wow. Bloomberg's older than Trump?
Yes.
Wow.
So is Bernie. Good. So is Biden.
Now, I wanted to ask you, Frankie, because you're great at this stuff, but a lot of these primary states have early voting, right, where people can go weeks in advance and they can mail it in and all this other stuff. What happens?
Which New York has now too, by the way. I voted early last year.
To their votes? Like, let's suppose.
Excellent question, John.
Let's suppose someone in California said, "Oh man, I love Pete Buttigieg. I love Andrew Yang. I love Amy Klobuchar. I'm going to mail it in right now for them." What happens now? Do they get an opportunity to make another vote?
Well, this is a simulated California ballot for Amy Klobuchar, Tom Steyer, or Andrew Yang. It is essentially useless now. Those people do not get to revote. Those votes are cast. Those votes will be counted just as well as if you were to cast them tomorrow. So it's a great question, but no, all those people that voted early, we're probably talking potentially hundreds of thousands of people, maybe even more, maybe even over 1 million. We're talking over 1 million people, possibly, again, I'll try and get some numbers, that voted early for candidates that are no longer in the race. Buttigieg, Steyer, that's his home state after all, Andrew Yang, Klobuchar, who was the endorsed candidate, at least one of the two endorsed candidates by the New York Times. So it's very interesting, and it's a great point that you raise.
So those people, they're out because the government gave them a chance to vote early, and the people drop out, so they're out. They don't participate. This actually could hurt Joe Biden, because there were a lot more people in that middle lane originally than this isn't going to hurt Bernie.
I would think especially it would hurt Biden because a lot of the Mayor Pete supporters, who he was very well organized, he had a pretty good ground game. A lot of the Mayor Pete supporters probably would have been more likely to vote early. But at this point, unless Bloomberg also drops out, if he has a sizable showing and racks up some delegates tomorrow, I think you're looking at a three-way race between now and the convention. After tomorrow, I would bet dollars to donuts that Elizabeth Warren drops out of the race for president. And then the next debate is Bloomberg, Biden, Bernie. And then I think that's going to be the case until the convention.
Frankie, the other thing, everybody was talking about how there's going to be this huge turnout and debate. Not really that huge. I mean, bigger than 2018, but not bigger than 2012, from what I understand it. And the one thing, Hillary Clinton got 80% of the African American vote in the last primary, and Joe Biden got 61% of that vote, I believe.
Is that right? I haven't seen those numbers, but certainly it's a different dynamic with a multi-candidate field than when there are two main candidates, as was the case in 2016. One other piece of breaking news, John, that I want to bring to your attention and to our viewers' attention. It is my sad duty to report that James Lipton, the legendary host of Inside the Actors Studio, has passed away at the age of 93 years old. Now, We all know James Lipton from Inside the Actors Studio, where he'd interview all these famous actors, a couple of directors.
Scary-looking guy.
I like the way he looked. It was certainly a unique look.
Yeah.
But what I don't think a lot of our viewers appreciate is that he wasn't just a television show host or an interviewer. He was a lyricist, a writer, a TV producer. He produced Bob Hope specials. He produced Jimmy Carter's inauguration for television. He was an actor, was great on Arrested Development recently, but he was a theater actor on Broadway going all the way back to the 50s. And, if I'm not mistaken, even served our country honorably in the U.S. Air Force. This is somebody I've always admired, and I'm sorry that we never got a chance to have him on this show.
So Jack Welch gone this weekend at 84, former chairman of GM and GE, and GE also owned NBC and all that other stuff.
Right.
So two mega television stars gone.
If you'll permit me, John, if we have 40 more seconds, I want to play for you this clip from Politicking with Larry King, where he gets James Lipton to reveal some things about himself that he never really told anybody. Listen to Larry King, one great interviewer, interviewing another, James Lipton.
With Pope Francis, think of what I could accomplish in 24 hours.
Guilty pleasure.
I love boxing.
Boxing?
Yep, I watch boxing, and I know that there's something wrong about that, but I like watching.
Like boxing. Mayweather?
Yeah, I did when he was at his peak.
Last time you were starstruck?
This is going to sound stupid. If you're talking about Inside the Actors Studio, it's never occurred. I have not felt that way. Because what are we talking about? We're talking about craft, the actor's craft. Those are students out there. I'm a dean up here asking questions. It's a master class. There's no room in that for being starstruck.
Best compliment you ever got?
The best compliment I ever got?
Emmy nominations aren't a bad compliment.
Well, certainly a legend, and someone all of us who've been up late at night have tuned into, because he's a unique character, and we wish his family the best. Thank you. We're going to take a quick break now. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back. I don't think I made many mistakes in today's show. In fact, I feel pretty confident about it. We're still going to come back and do the WTF What the Facts right after this.